Welcome to Real Estate U with Letty Ann.
Welcome back to our podcast, Season 2 of Real Estate U with Letty Ann. And I want to welcome my guest and friend, Jacob Kamrad. Welcome, Jacob.
Hi, glad to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. So Jacob recently bought his first home, and he wanted to share some thoughts on his the first time home buying experience. And just before we went on air, I was telling Jacob, it's really not just first time home buyers and the first time home buying experience, because so many people live in their house for maybe 10 years, 20 years, decades.
Yeah.
I've got someone, we're selling now their house of 35 years. That's a lot of memories and a lot of time, but it's really no different in them selling and them having to buy something because they haven't done it in decades. So we look forward to hearing about your experience. And let's start maybe with, I always want to bring up your lender experience.
Yeah.
So we're grateful that you secured and used a local lender. I really encourage people to use local lenders when they're lending, and maybe you could back this up, because a lot of people go online and think, well, I'll just get pre-approved online.
Yeah, and I even tried that. Mine is a bit weird, so I tried that. I did the normal gambit of go online, look online, go here, go there. I had 4 different places in mind, try and feel everything out, get different bids, as it were, and pretty much all of them were like, okay, yeah, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. Most of them national brands. One of them was, I think, a little bit more local. But, all of them were like, yeah, we'll get back to you. 2 or 3 weeks later, I get emails from people. One of them, I think, actually called me, which was nice. But all of them were like, okay, we need this more information. And it took a while. It took longer than I thought it would, for, being an online, automated, all that stuff. I thought, next day someone would be there. It's like, okay, we need this, this, and this, and put this form here and put that form there. And even to the point of one of them, did the initial follow-up, but then after that, it was like super hard to get in touch with them, and was like, I don't have anyone to actually call or talk to. I mean, I can call and talk to them, but it's like, I can't, they're not here. I can't go into their office and say, hey, what's up? What's going on?
That seemed like it took even 2 to 3 weeks.
It was
when you can be pre-approved with someone you can be pre-approved, maybe not pre-qualified, but you can be pre-approved or not in about 48 hours.
Yeah.
So that you got the runaround there.
Well, a little bit, but it was also because there was I didn't have any credit, which was my big issue, which it was actually twofold. So I didn't have any credit because I didn't have any credit cards, I've always had a debit card, use that, Visa comes right out of my checking account, no problems. But if you don't have any alternate credit as well, which is things like phone bills or utility bills or a few other things that you can use, you can't actually get approved for a home loan during the normal method. Like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac will not buy your loan. So most national lenders can't give you a loan because they can't sell your loan to those guys, which was actually really hard to figure out. It was probably around 3 weeks in that someone actually called me and said, hey, do you have this thing called alternate credit? You obviously don't have a credit card. Do you have this other stuff? And I was like, no, I don't. Well, I've got these loans that I paid off from college. I've got a car loan that I paid off, or a car that I recently purchased. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's not good enough. We need this stuff here on this list of things.
Isn't that crazy?
Or else
he has money but no credit. And he's got a nice big down payment but no credit. So this was some obstacles here. Yeah.
So the local came in that I've been banking with this credit union, the one that I got the loan through, for, what was it?
Weren't you like 10?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
like 10 years old.
Wicked young.
Yeah,
like started
15
with
years,
gathering quarters or something.
Yeah.
The quarter.
Pretty much exactly. And when I first talked to them, they were like, yeah, I'm sure we can whip something up. Like, of course, they went through the process, figured out I didn't have any credit, and they were like, what do we do? Because, they're in the same boat as everyone else, but they were actually able to go through and pull credit references, which is basically if you're doing a portfolio loan, meaning the bank holds the loan in-house, then they can do kind of whatever they want. Now they still have to get underwriting, so someone actually has to, back things up. But they were actually able to do the loan entirely in-house, and without that, I would have been a month or two more to actually be able to get pre-approved and get the process going. And by that point, I may have missed out on the house that I currently live in. So that was kind of a shock. Is that I don't, like credit. I got a credit card to try and shop around, because after I realized, okay, I don't have any credit and no one's going to give me a loan, and if I go to this one credit union, they're going to be the only one. If they give me, a 10% interest rate, I mean, that's not a thing, but as an example, I have no other option. So I got a credit card, added some credit, which did eventually get me a few different lenders to be able to come in and say, okay, yeah, we can do 3.5, 4, 3 3/4, but with the local one, since I'd been there for forever, and since my dad had his loan there, and he was about to pay it off, and I was about to come on, and they were actually able to work out like a 3% on my house on a 10-year loan. So it's
10-year loan.
Phenomenal.
This young man, if it's okay to say that, is
Yeah.
in his 20s. We won't say his age. 10-year loan and like a big chunk down. Like
Yes,
you've been planning for this.
Although that was a bit fortunate on my part, and I would honestly suggest this to anyone who can. I lived at home with my parents to the point where I was able to save up for 20% down. At 20% down, I think like a few things go away. I don't know how private or how
PMI.
How that works exactly, but I know I think it's from 3% to 20% is that you have to have PMI, private mortgage insurance.
Anything under 20.
Anything under 20. So not having that allows you to not have to go back and take that off later, do that stuff like that. So it's pretty nice to do that. But again, I was fairly lucky that my parents let me live with them for 2 years.
Then they started giving them the squeeze, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Mom?
Dad was like, you have to save up 20%. It has to be 20%. Otherwise, you're not going to have any negotiating. And mom was like, okay, so the end of the year. You're moving out by the end of the year. I was like, okay, 2 years. 2 years is enough. Got it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But I was able to get, that 20% down. And even maybe more important than that was having a little bit extra in the bank, just because, you move in, you don't know what condition of some stuff. Like we were looking around at the house during the inspection, the air conditioner looked like it was about to go. It allegedly still works. I haven't actually tested it, but stuff like that where it's just like, okay, well, you never know if you buy it in the middle of summer, all of a sudden your AC goes out on you the next day, then what do you do, kind of stuff. So that was also nice. Honestly, the whole process was made a lot easier by that, having that insurance blanket of knowing,
like the comfort that, okay, I can buy it, and if I have some cushion if I need to make repairs.
Yeah.
Plus, you're wicked handy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, I might call you.
Spent,
I mean, your car, you fix cars. You have a workshop. I mean,
yes.
Whoa, you're
Which
a
is
catch.
Getting more and more.
And he's single. Anyone out there.
Very true.
And cute as Christmas. But that's a whole nother, let's not go down that route. Let's stay focused.
Okay.
So, we're off and running. But we had started to look at, go ahead. We started to look at homes, but you were trying to secure the credit and all of that.
And one thing that I was honestly surprised by, and I had to do I did a lot of Googling, which was not as fruitful as I'd hoped. Because I went through, the first thing you do, you start Googling things. You start, okay, how do I get pre-approved? What's pre-approval? What's all this stuff? What's underwriting? What's private mortgage insurance? It was something that would like, at every turn, it was like, hey, I have this question. And I found an answer on Google, but it wasn't like someone was explaining it to me. It's just like, here's the definition. But it wasn't until I got with a mortgage broker who actually was whose job it is to, figure things out and walk people through the process of getting these kinds of loans, that I actually started to get actual answers. And again, that was someone local that was, had a vested interest in getting me that loan and, making sure that I could get something and knew everything and did their due diligence of making sure I knew what I was getting into, and did a very good job of explaining. And you as well did that throughout the process of like, what's this, how do I do that, what's the fair price for this, what do we do here, what's the next step, kind of stuff. There was a lot of questions I had like that, and I mean, I found answers on the internet, but it wasn't as good as actually talking to somebody and getting face to face and walking through everything, because there were multiple times where it was like I even went back and asked the same question twice, and it was even I had the access to Google, I'd already learned what it was, but again, having that reassurance from somebody in person to say, yes, this is what this is, was very helpful.
Somebody in the business, rather than some information or an answer on the internet that you're not sure if it's valid or applies to you and your situation.
Exactly.
I want to reiterate too, though, whether you're a first-time home buyer or not, You don't need 20%. Jacob was fortunate enough to
Very.
have the 20%, and a lot of younger people, maybe millennials or whatever, who's ever out there. There's a misconception that one needs 20% down to buy a home. It's not true.
It is not. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to reiterate that in case anyone's thinking, well, we were hoping to buy a house with 5% down. Well, talk to a local lender. You can do it, and get out of your rent payments or out of your parents' basement and purchase a house.
Yeah.
So it's the American dream, and it's still the most the best investment you can make on any day.
Yeah, and then kind of on that note, another thing we talked about being handy and have maybe the air conditioner is about to go out, and what I did was I think atypical for most first-time home buyers, maybe not, but I don't think it's very common that I was actually looking for a house that wasn't in great shape, not falling apart, but like there's the bathroom needs to be recaulked, or the furnace needs to be serviced, or it's 20 years old, the hot water heater is 20 years old. There's all these things that kind of take the price down little bit by little bit, because I bought a 2-bedroom 1-bathroom house, so not large, but again, I'm one person. I don't need.
It's a big property. He's got there's 3 buildings on it.
Yeah, I do have
really cool buildings.
I do have a detached garage and a shed.
It's
which
really
are
cool.
All from like the 1930s,
1886 or something
like that.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's
weird
like sort of a
hodgepodge
farm.
of farmhouse. Yeah,
It's like a farmhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wicked cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. What were your emotions? So we got over the credit part, and then now it's time to look for a house, and we had some fun experiences. Not fun, but kind of awkward and interesting experiences.
I thought they were fun.
They were super fun.
There was one. Okay, so I had this tendency, because I had been looking on. Actually, the process was before you got involved. I was going around looking at houses, going to open houses, just for getting a feel of the market, which I also would suggest. It's nice to actually know where your dollar can go and what it can get you, where it can get you, because there's definitely different houses like Overland Park, Leawood versus Raytown, Kansas City, Lee Summit, places like that.
And what you get for your money.
Yeah, and depending on, if you go north of the river, you go, south of the river, Kansas, Missouri, you can get a lot of different things for your money. So, I mean, looking around is probably the best thing that saved me.
And when did you decide to secure a real estate professional?
That was probably after I got the move out date, and I worked backwards from that. It was okay. Well, I got to be out by January, so if I gotta pad myself, because I knew I didn't have any credit, so I realized there was gonna be some difficulty there, so I padded it by a few months there. But I started probably 3 months after I just went, because I was just casually going to open houses this weekend there, that one. But probably about 3 months into doing that, midsummer, I think, is when I started actually reaching out to lenders, and I think you around that time. To just kind of try and get into things, and again, I got delayed, but I was able to make my deadline of January by not quite a month, but
close,
still close enough.
So, what emotional experiences? What was your biggest fear, and what was your biggest concern? I'm just checking on our time. We're good? Okay.
So emotions. Initially, again, I had a buffer, so I wasn't super concerned about the whole money thing, and that takes a lot out of it. Actually, it was kind of surprising how much that played into it. Like if I was going through and I was getting if I was going to have to go through a FHA, and trying to go through multiple places and work with multiple people as opposed to just one bank to get a loan. Not saying that there wasn't any stress, but it was a lot less stress to have to actually, okay, I'm working with this bank, getting things. The one thing that probably stressed me out the most was the pre-approval, like getting a pre-approval letter, mostly because of my situation where I didn't have any credit, didn't have any alt credit, so I had to go with credit references. That was the scariest part, is like, do I actually have a letter, or
am I going to be able to do this?
Am I actually pre-approved? Am I not? Like, am I actually going to be able to buy the house? It wasn't until like the day of when I signed all the paperwork, and it was like, okay, I'm done. All right, I don't have to worry anymore. That was, I'd say, probably about the week leading up to it. It was probably the most stressful stuff. Nothing really anxious or like fearful or terrified or anything like that. But there was a little bit of stress there at the end, and then a lot of relief and joy right at the end.
Yay!
On the day of signing, that was nice. That was good.
What was the most fun part of your experience?
Going to look at all the houses we looked at.
So I was
glad
your
we
fun
circled
part.
back around that. Yes.
fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was.
Like all of the houses we looked at, even the ones that weren't. There were a few that were pretty normal and pretty good to look at, and then there were other ones that I had just been browsing the internet and found that were like, I'm never gonna get this chance again. So let's go to this weird abandoned house that.
We'll call it interesting.
Yes, interesting very
houses.
much. Definitely, you could have shot a horror film in one of those houses.
Yeah.
like a B-roll horror film. You could have done one of those pretty easily in one of those houses. Like we opened one door and was like, "Yep, we're not going in there."
Yeah. I'm like, Jacob, he's like, nope, we're out of here. I'm like, all right, see ya.
Yeah. And it was one of those things where it was okay. It was a big house. It needed some work, but how bad is it? And then I got in there and was like, oh, okay, it's actually pretty bad.
But we also were trying to dial in on some land. We didn't want a quarter acre. You were looking for more of an acre, or at least a half acre. He wants.
Yeah, I had some weird requirements. I wanted a 2-car garage, but I kind of gave up on that because I realized that the house size I was looking for didn't really promote that, because most people just have 1 car. I have 2, 3 now actually. So I was okay, 1-car garage, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. I knew that from the beginning because I didn't want a huge house. But that kind of narrowing that down and making sure that I stayed within those bounds. Because you find a good deal. It's like, oh, I want this, but do I actually want it? Like if I had found, a bigger house than I wanted, that wasn't, as big of a yard, would I really have been happy with something like that? But having those criteria and having you hold me to those criteria, because I remember a few times that you were like, okay, this checks this box, but are you sure you don't want to? Are you sure you're okay with this box? Which the house I have now it checks all the boxes except for one, and that one has gotten worse over time actually.
Which one?
The 20 minutes from work. So I was originally like 22 minutes from work. And then I moved offices recently.
Oh.
And now it's like, depending on traffic, 30 to 45 minutes.
Well, we need to get you another house.
I still got
Yeah, no.
No. Not anytime soon. Maybe one day. But
well, you have lots of plans for where you are, so let's stick with that.
Yeah, and I got plenty to work on too, which is one of the other things. I did want a house that I could work on. I'm handy. I like working with stuff, and
you're good at it.
Yeah, and actually, going in and it's okay. I got a deal on this house because it's not in perfect shape, but then I can go through, fix things, and then I raise the value of the house in and of itself, and I actually can kind of make some money on the deal.
That's amazing. What's the importance of hiring a real estate professional and the right fit? Because there's 11,000 licensed people in the I'm not kidding.
I didn't even realize that.
Not in the state, in the Kansas City metro area, over 11,000 licensed persons. So how does one know who to pick?
So there were actually, I don't think I ever told you this, but there were actually 2 realtors I was talking to. I was talking to you and then someone else who went to the same grade school as, and he became a realtor. His market was a little bit different than yours. He was, even where my house is, he was looking at a different, lower end market for his, mostly like rental property type of things. And I had started talking with him, but it didn't seem like the perfect fit. He didn't have as much experience as you did. You've been in this game for how long now?
Over 15 years.
Yep, that's a fair bit more experience. Not to discredit him in any way, but I just felt his market was a little bit different than what I was looking for. And you have a wide range of experience. I don't know how big or how small you usually go, but I asked around for a few different people. I did talk to, other than you two, did have a few other names on the docket, but started communicating with you and hit it off right from the start. So the deal was done at that point. So, as far as importance of finding one that fits for you, I think it's about as important as the house you end up buying, because your realtor would directly affect, what house you buy. Their advice and assistance with buying the house is key to getting exactly what you want and what you need.
And the questions they ask you.
Yes.
So you're speaking my language. We have about 1 or 2 minutes left. You're speaking my language when you're saying the boxes checked.
Yeah,
because
that was from you.
Those are exact quotes. Because when I have buyers, we have a buyer consultation, and I say, okay, tell me your needs, tell me your wants, and I have this piece of paper, and I keep it with me at all times when I'm with you. And because people, they buy things based on emotion.
Yeah.
So they get really excited. Oh my gosh, let's write it up, and I'll go, wait, this only checks one box, and they hate me for saying that. But 5 months later, they're like, thank you for not allowing me to move forward with that. It only checked one of our 10 boxes. So I like asking questions. Remember, I said to you, this house, I'm like, Jacob, whoa, this property checks like almost all your boxes. And I said, what's the most you're willing to pay for this? And you're like, why are you asking me that?
Yeah.
I go, I just really, you're like, well, I'd be fine if they sold it to me for blank. I said, I think we can get it for blank. And I'm not trying to jack with anyone, but I looked up all the comps, and I said, I said, if you're willing to pay that, great. Will you let me just go and do my thing? And you're like, yeah, but I'm only willing to pay this much. And off we came, and I think we were $2,000 less. We came in.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
And you're like, whoa. And I'm like, well, $2,000, put it towards your garage. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was a beautiful thing.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that was, and I will say that was one thing that I'm not a realtor. I don't know the market. I mean, I can look at things and look at comps and stuff like that, look on Zillow and try and find what other houses in the area.
If the information is correct on Zillow.
Very
Sorry,
true.
sidebar.
And now throughout the whole process, kind of a side note on Zillow, I was basically, everyone said, don't trust Zillow. Like Zillow, the online, automatic appraisal stuff, because stuff can be really far out of date, like the quality inside of the house.
Correct.
Stuff like that. So
it's fun.
yeah.
It's fun to go and look because it's easy and it's free, and you don't have to talk to anyone, and you can do it at any time.
It's
of
good
the
for
day.
general idea, but not actually detailed looking at stuff like comps. But yeah, no, having someone there to like say, yeah, you were like, okay, this is the house. I mean, reasonably what you could get for what it's worth, the work you have to put into it, it's all factors you have to consider, and that's something that I didn't really have any experience with. So having you there with me the whole way was very, very important.
Oh, thank you, Jacob. I so enjoyed it, and love when clients turn into friends.
Yes.
And so if you want to avoid Zillow, please go to lettyann.com. Right on your screen somewhere here, lettyann.com, and simply subscribe to our website, and you have free reign and free access to MLS listings live. We're not going to hound you or beat you up. If you register, you're not going to get 65,000 things from us a day. You will get something once a month from us. But if you're home searching and looking for true real-time information, please go to lettyann.com. Jacob, thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to come back to your property. I enjoyed the housewarming party. That was really fun. And I enjoyed meeting your lenders, but it was great to finally meet the gals that helped you through the process.
Yeah.
That was really fun for me as well. So I so enjoy my business, and it's helping people like you achieve their goals, and in the right way is what makes me so happy to be a licensed real estate professional. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you again soon.